Hi friends, it's Billy Tea Garden with Tea Gardens Today. And today we're not in the kitchen. Instead, I want to talk about something totally different. It's my life and has been for a little while, and I'm trying to get away from it. With YouTube and social media, I still feel like there's something left in me, and anything I've ever done, I've poured everything I've got into it, and this is no different. So what I want to do, I want to give you 5 life hacks to help you get through the month that I have found living on disability, or your family lives on low income or Social Security. These are rules I live by, and they work. You know, the number one reason for arguments or divorce is money. It's over money. Number 2 is actually cheating, but we're not going to get into that. So grab you a good cup of coffee or a cold drink, and I'm going to see if I can help you out here. I do it every month with a wife that has no income and my little dog you saw before. Before we get started, I'm going to ask you to do one thing, and it's totally free. I've asked you this before. A few people has done this, and I want to ask again. It costs you nothing. It's probably the only thing you're going to do right now that is free and does cost nothing, and that is to go down there and to click on subscribe and hit that like button and turn on notifications. It helps me more than you realize and helps me to keep on making these videos, which I enjoy doing for you guys. So, as I told you before, I grew up on the farm in the 70s and 80s. And I have gone from growing up there, grew up dirt poor, to owning businesses, making good money as a mechanic. I've worked in big truck shops, diesel shops. I've worked in maintenance in Toyota, big factories, and I've had a pretty good life. And then I ended up on drugs, homeless, and at the time I didn't think there was a way out, but I was wrong. I went into recovery on my own. And no, I didn't go to hospital or I didn't go into rehab. I've done this on my own number of years back. And I was doing pretty good until I lost my left foot, not by accident, medically. I lost my left foot and toes on my right foot. Wasn't due to diabetes. It was something totally different. I had a vitamin deficiency, a serious B complex deficiency is what caused it. That's a brief story of my life, and today, thanks to being determined and strong-willed, I have, I may not have a lot today, but we're comfortable and happy. Being happy isn't what you have or what you own. I've been there. It's just a state of mind. It's how you live your life and who you live that life with. Who you live that life with can make you the most miserable you ever been, ever, as you know. So, just to give you a brief rundown, my monthly bills, I'm not going to give you dollars, but, you know, rent, car insurance, electric, I got a loan payment, I got a bed, one of those adjustable ones, you know, all that kind of stuff. I did get it from a rent-to-own place. I got a cell phone bill, and no, we don't have government phones, free phones or nothing. I got internet, and it's not the cheapest one. Gas for the car, and then to get through the month. Then we do have 2 brand new phones. I have the new Razor Plus 500 gig the Motorola, and my wife has a Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra. Neither one of those are cheap, but we pay lease payments on them. And I do have the best insurance. That insurance being I can pay $5 and have either one of them replaced, which I already have my razor because the screen comes loose. And we do subscribe to a couple of streaming services, and I pay for them with no commercials. And I do have YouTube Premium with no commercials. On top of all that, me and my wife both smoke cigarettes, and we don't smoke the cheap ones either. I always said if I was going to drink or I was going to smoke, it wouldn't be the cheap ones. I'd quit. Well, I quit, drinking years ago. And so, I still smoke cigarettes, and I'm going to give those up as well. Working on that one. I know I've cut back a whole lot, and I feel a whole lot better, that's for sure. We also have smartwatches. I have a tablet, 2 laptops. Our watches are Galaxy 5s, and I've got an Amazon big screen tablet, and I've got an i7 and an i5 Lenovo. The only thing that was bought new was my tablet. The rest I bought off eBay or Facebook Marketplace. Give you a little rundown of what I've got. And this is on disability. My wife doesn't have an income. I've done all this on my own. I have a 75-inch ThinQ smart TV. I've got a Yamaha and Onkyo surround. I think it's a 72. We've got a 48-inch TV in our bedroom, a 26-inch in the kitchen, a 36-inch in my office, and a 36-inch just a backup. And I've also got an Onkyo surround in my office. Not bad on disability. So let's talk about the 5 steps I have found to living and being comfortable living on disability, or, it also apply to Social Security or even low income. And yes, I will admit we do draw food stamps and I'm not one of those that's going to be, on social media bragging about it or nothing. It's just my life right now, but it's the way it is. I'm not proud of it. But till I find another way or a way to get out of it, which I hope I'm working on, that's just my life, and I will never stop trying to get out of it. Because it's not me. I feel like I've got more left in me. I lost half my left foot, toes on my right foot, but I've still got my hands, I've still got a brain. I feel like I can still do something, and I'm trying to. So with the help of you guys, hopefully I can get there. Okay, number 1. If you are with someone or married, make sure you both work together well. Make sure that you get along and agree to only one person controls everything. And what I mean is money and paying bills, all that kind of stuff. Also, have someone you can say no to, and they'll understand. That is the most important step, period, and the most basic. Getting anywhere in life is teamwork, as you know. It's not just you or me, it's an us. But I control the money and bills and stuff like that. It makes it much more simple. That way I know where all the money is at all times, and I know what goes where and, when it goes where. This life will always test your relationship and, your resolve with someone. That's for sure. Especially, a life of living on disability or, low income, and where you have to say no, to someone, if they want something or want to go somewhere. Sometimes you have to say no, we can't. And number 2 is the willpower to learn to say no or to say no. If you're in recovery for drugs or alcohol, and you've been doing good, and you're serious about it, then you will have the willpower to get through, through the month by saying no. I'm not going to go get anything. We're not going to go get anything. I'd rather have the money. Learn to say no, and what I mean there is when your wife or kids wants to eat out or order out, you got to learn to say no. It's too expensive. We can't afford it. Or no, we can't buy this or that. Or no, we can't afford to go here or there. You got to learn to say no and stick to it no matter what. You're probably going to make somebody mad, but oh well. When it comes to your addiction, wanting to go out and get something, or your other half does, and you got to learn to say no. We just can't, because we're not wasting our money on that junk, and most of all, we don't need it. And we do really well at that. I don't think we ever have, since, we both, in recovery and whatnot, and that was years back. These are the two most important: willpower and saying no. Those are the two important things to get through the month, in my opinion, and it works. And I want to reiterate: only one person controls and keeps up with all the bills and money. So you'll always know how much the family has at all times, and only one person pays the bills. Only one person pays for everything. I don't care whether it's gas, the car, or whatever. One person's got it. You know what you got, and it helps. I mean, it makes a big difference. This is where communication as a family comes into play. If your wife or husband, or no matter if you're married or not, the one person that's the strongest willed and the most controlled, or, the most controlled person, keeps up with the bills and money, and make sure he or she tells you when that day comes, or if you've got kids, make sure that they tell you what day that they need that money on, so you can mark it down and plan for that. Because there's, going to be nothing worse than that day comes and they ask you for it and it's not there. So you got to disappoint them because it's been spent, or you gave in to one of those no's and it was used. So just make sure one person does. To get through the month is having a good budget and know what your bills are a month and when they're due, even if you don't pay everything at one time, or, on the first, third, whatever, whenever you get your check. Sit down and figure your bills up. Include everything like gas, tobacco if you use it, if you have prescription co-pays, if you have doctor's co-pays, if your kids have something. Make sure you put up, figure all that up. And, by keeping a track through the month, you got your month, keeping a track of, everything and marking it down, then you'll know what you got left to live on. And if anyone has to go anywhere outside of your normal routine, that is extra money, and it costs extra in gas to go there. So chances are you might have to say, no, we can't. It wasn't figured into it. Know how much money you'll have after all the bills are paid, so you know what is left to get you through the month. Know how much it takes for your family to get through each week. Divide it down to the week. And then for the month. I even divide it down to the day. I know how much it costs, us to live a day. If it looks like there isn't going to be enough money to get you through the month, then you might have to cut some things out. or you're going to have to find somewhere to make extra money. And I do that. Anywhere I can find to make a little extra money, I do that because I like extra money. I like money. Who doesn't? If you're going to do one or the other because there's no money, no extra money, then you're going to have to find a way to make it, unless you find a way to make it. There's not going to be extra. Regardless, don't be afraid to constantly be looking for a way to make a little extra money. It's definitely not going to hurt anything. Making some extra money, it's a good thing. It helps you mentally and physically. It also helps show that you're with the family and you're a good provider and you're not a deadbeat as well. It helps a lot. Stay away from these money lending places like Cash Express or whatever you have around you, because even though it might give you a little extra money for the month or right now, you're still going to have to pay that back. And these places can be 800% interest. It might not look like it, or, if you do it, but if you do the numbers, it can be 800% interest or more, actually. These places thrive on people that don't know how to control money, and these places will do nothing but get you into a hole you'll never get out of. Unless you can borrow it and pay it back the next month with the interest, chances are you're going to find yourself in this endless cycle every month. If you have to, you're better off to borrow it from, a friend or family member, because they understand if you can't pay it back at one time because something came up, and you're not going to pay that 800% interest. Stay away from pawn shops, because chances are you pawn something just to lose it. If you can do without something worth money, then sell it. That is extra money. But don't buy anything on time unless you know you can afford it, and don't buy but one thing at a time. Like I've got our bed through the rental place, but the other day I know that half our payments, I'm halfway through that, and I don't have a lot of time left on it, and I probably won't go back and get anything else. Furniture, stuff like that, I buy from Marketplace, stuff like that, It just makes sense. Pay all of your bills the first of the month. This is number 5. Pay all your bills the first of the month when you get paid. Pay all of them, including whatever it takes your family to get through the month. Figure that in. Whatever it takes your family to get through the week and through the month, figure that in, because that is still a bill. No, just because you have money left over, it doesn't mean you can go out and spend it, because that is all the money you got, for the month, unless someone goes out and brings in extra money. But don't plan on it, because things can and probably will change. Somebody comes up and says, hey, Eddie, I need some extra money, whatever. You say no. You say, well, I got this, next week or whatever. And, it doesn't matter. Things can and probably will change. Unless that money is in hand, it's not made money unless that person has that money in hand. So, even if someone, begs for you something, in the house or whatever, you still got to say no. So, you got to stick to that no matter what. You're probably going to make somebody mad, but that's better than running out of money before you get paid the first of the month, and they'll probably forget about it and they'll understand. So, friends, there are 5 things it takes to get through the month on disability, low income, or Social Security. And they work. I do it every month. I told you what we own. It just works. I always be looking for ways to make extra money, and I always be looking for a way out of disability if you can. Go back to school, whatever. I know I'm always doing that. We're not kids anymore. We don't have a mom or dad to run to for extra money. all this is a part of being a responsible adult, and it's a good feeling that you're going to get when you know that you got you and your family through the month and you didn't run out. And you know, here comes another month, and it looks good to your wife and your kids and stuff. And you know, it especially looks good on your kids because they're going to learn, because one day they're going to be adults. Follow these steps and you won't have your electric cut off or your car repossessed or get caught driving with no insurance. You know what that can cause today. And always be looking for ways to make and cut expenditures, to cut spending out. Don't be going out to eat and ordering in, you know, and if you do, make sure that it's not going to hurt you getting through the month. If you want to go out to eat or order in, figure that into your bills. Make sure you can afford it, and only do that once a month. That's it. Just once a month. It's too expensive. Besides, it's healthier to, you know, to cook at home and stuff anyways. I've been showing you my cooking videos. And that is, you know, that's cooking on food stamps too. This life and any other life isn't easy, you know, without enough willpower. You got to have also communication, as I said, and be alert to the spending that's going on. Be alert to the spending that's going on. And like I said, only have one person controlling the money. It'll help make sure you get yourself and your family through the month. If you have any money left going into the next month, great. That is a little extra money. You will probably need it because life does happen. Things do happen, you know that. My wife says I'm a cheap-ass person, and I am. If we want something, I never buy new. It makes no sense going out and paying brand new prices on whatever or anything. Let someone else go out and, you know, buy it brand new. Then you find it on Marketplace or eBay or whatever, yard sale or whatever. It's still the same product. Besides, if it's got a warranty and something's going to happen, it's going to happen, you know, within the first bit anyway. So, you know, buy, you know, and, you know, today people's got to have new so often. You're probably going to buy the newest out. You know, if it's not the newest, maybe you'll be a year behind or so. So what? You know, no big deal. It's better than being in debt like that. And if there is something you want brand new and you can finance it, make sure it's not going to hurt you. Figure it in, like I said. And nothing else, save your money up. Save up. Who knows? You know, maybe in 3 months you'll find a better deal on, you know, whatever it is, you know, you or your family wants. And then you'll have the cash to buy it. Don't go out here and pay your car lot either. Because you still have to keep full coverage on that vehicle. And chances are, you know, you don't get no warranty. So, if you have a breakdown, you got to pay for it. That's extra money. If it's a major breakdown, then you can find yourself with a car payment you can't afford to fix unless you're a mechanic, and I am, always have been. If you're going to buy a car, buy something and pay cash. Let me tell you, these buy here, pay here lots. I'll give you the scoop on these places. They'll go out to an auction, they'll give $500 for a vehicle, okay? And then you go down and look at it. All right, they're going to ask you $500, you know, or better down. Well, you just give them what they pay for it. And then if you keep that vehicle till it's paid for, you're going to pay $2,000 or $3,000 for this vehicle. It's highway robbery, and you don't get a warranty. That's why you see these lots on every street corner, because they take advantage of people like you and me, and they try to me, but it don't work. Because most people don't know any better. Go to an auction and buy a car or whatever it takes. Just pay cash. That way you don't have to pay. You don't have to keep full coverage insurance. And here in Kentucky, we have to pay for registration and tags every year, and that's based on what the car is worth. And the newer it is, the more it costs. I think ours is I think we just paid them. It's like $25 for tax, registration, and tax. It's not bad. It does take a lot of patience and hard work, no matter if you're on disability or if you've got a good paying job. It doesn't matter. The only difference is how much money you have and what it's going to cost to get through life. The more you have, the more you spend. It's just the way it is. Never think you have any money, and don't let anyone think you have any money. My wife knows I always have money, even though I'm always telling her I don't. But if we really need or want something, and as long as it won't keep us from getting through the month, then I'll give it to her. But I always want receipts. Always. I always want to know, what was spent, how much something cost. And if it's a card, it's on my phone, and I know if she goes out and spends it, I know because it's right there. And I always want the change too, because, like I said, one person controls it. If I don't get the change, then I ask her how much change is left. I got to know, because all that figures in. If it's much change, then I will get that back. In a way, you do have to be a controlling type of person, because you do have to get you and your family's life to control, and make sure you get through, to have what you need, have, what you got to have in life. Even say when we can or can't go somewhere, because that is extra money. And if it's not figured in, then that could make a difference. You might not think that, say, $10 is going to make a difference, but that $10 could make a difference on getting through to, the next payday again. Sounds crazy, I know, but many of you know what I'm talking about. It makes a difference. So, what do you think? Do you and does your family live anything like this? Do you think you and your family can live this controlled? Does one person in your house control the money and pay the bills? Do you know how much your bills are, for the month? And do you know how much everything costs? And do you know how much it takes your family to get through the week or even a day? Leave me something in the comments there and let me know if you and your family can or do live like this. I'm interested to know. And, if you need, I can actually help you lay all this out and stuff. I am very good with money. I can actually help you if you need to, but but it just takes control. And if you have kids, it's a good way to teach them self-control, responsibility, and how to take care of money. And always, as I said before, always look for other ways to make extra money, and always find ways to cut spending money. And whatever, try to find a way to get, away from, disability and stuff. As long as you can, the longer you can live off of it and making money, the better off you're going to be. Nothing else. Go back to school or whatever it takes, because all you have in this life is time. And, it's time to put you and your family into a better place. Beware of what it costs to live, and, pay for life, because you will be paying for it for a very long time. So, know what it costs. Well, friends, I hope you got something out of this. And if you did, leave me something in the comments down there and let me know. If there's a video you would like me to cover, like this or cooking or whatever, leave it in the comments and I'll do it. I'll make it. So, will my next video be like this? Cooking, fixing something, talking politics? Who knows? We'll see. I'm kind of on this kick right now, and I might stay on stuff like this for a while. So just, stay up on my shorts to let you know what I've got coming out and when and stuff. This one will come out tomorrow night. My videos have been coming out at 2:30. I'm going to switch that up to tomorrow night, 9:30, 10 o'clock, something like that. Hey, friends, till next time, I thank you for watching, and I hope this video helps someone out there keep from struggling so much and helps you out some. Thanks again. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't cost you nothing. Like and turn on notifications so you know when my next video is coming out. This is Billy T. Garden with T. Gardens Today. I'm not in the kitchen right now. See ya.